Good morning, pre-calculus. So, just a quick check-in. I hope y'all are doing well. Gosh, has it just been 1 week or has it been 2 weeks of this? I miss y'all. I hope you're doing well. Shoot me an email. Let me know how you're doing. All right, so today we're going to talk about matrix multiplication. And before we can do that, we need to talk about the dimension of a matrix. The dimension of a matrix just describes the number of rows and the number of columns. So we say it's the number of rows by the number of columns. So this guy here has 2 rows and 3 columns, so I call that a 2 by 3 matrix. This one here has 3 rows and 2 columns, so I call this a 3 by 2. So number of rows by number of columns. And when we multiply matrices, the number of columns from the first matrix has to be equal to the number of rows for the second matrix. And you'll see why in just 1 second. Okay? Pause that if you need to write it down. Okay, so the number of columns of matrix A has to be equal to the number of rows in matrix B. We're going to start out by multiplying a 2 by 2 by a 2 by 2, so it's somewhat irrelevant. Okay? So I want to say, hey, I want to take this matrix here times this matrix here. And the way that this is going to work out is that I'm going to end up with a 2 by 2 matrix in this case, but I'm going to take the first element in the first row. I'm going to multiply it by the first element in the first column of the next matrix. And then I'm going to add that to the second element of the first row of matrix 1 times the second element of the first column of matrix 2. So the thing that's going to go right here in matrix in the product is going to be A times E plus B times G. And then the next, so that's going to go right here. What's going to happen in that second column, or the second element in row 1 of my product is going to be the first element of the first row of the first matrix times the first element of the second column of the second matrix. And then times, so you're just going to do this little sum of products as you go across the first matrix and down the second. Okay, so if I want to know what's going to be right here, I would go to this row, but it's in the first column. So it's second row, it's going to be the sum of the products of the second row times the first column. So A times E plus D times G. And then this guy here, well, that's the second row and the second column. So it's going to be C times F plus D times H. All right, pause the video and unpack that if you need to. Make sure you get it written down. All right, so let's look at a numerical example here. Okay, if I want to multiply these 2 matrices, I'm going to start by saying, okay, I've got a 2 by 2 and a 2 by 2, so the number of rows of the first one is equal to the number of the columns of the second one. I'm good to go. The first element here is going to be 5 times 2 plus 6 times 4. This guy right here is going to be, it's the second column, first row, 5 times 3 plus 6 times 5. Okay, what do you think is going to go right here? Take a moment and write that one down ahead of me. What do you think is going to go right here? Second row, first column. So I'm going to do 7 times 2 plus 8 times 4. Looky there. What do you think is going to go right here? See if you can get ahead of me on that one. Second row, second column. So 7 times 3 plus 8 times 5. Boom. Okay, and once you get those written down, then you just have to do the computations. actually multiply and add. So 10 plus 24 gives me 34. 15 plus 30 gives me 45. 14 plus 32 gives me 46. 21 plus 40 gives me 61. All right, so what happens if I have a different size? Like, for example, what if I wanted to try to multiply these guys? First off, can I do it? Well, the number of rows is equal to the number of columns. All right, so I think I'm going to end up with, the number of rows is 2, the number of columns is 2. I think I'm going to end up with a 2 by 2 matrix. Okay, so the first element is going to be 7 times 1 plus 2 times 9 plus 3 times 11. Looky there. The next element is going to be 1 times 8 plus 2 times 10 plus 3 times 12. Okay, the thing that's going to go right here, in the first row of the first column of the second row. Okay, so second row, first column, 4 times 7 plus 5 times 9 plus 6 times 11. And then finally this guy right here, 4 times 8 plus 5 times 10 plus 6 times 12. And then once you do that computation, all the arithmetic, you should end up with, pause it, do it, pause it, woo, woo, woo. I think that's your answer right there. 58, 64, 139, 154. So that's how you multiply matrices, kids. I've got a short 4-question homework assignment posted for you on Canvas that just gives you some practice. All right, hey, have a great weekend. Take care of yourself. Relax, breathe, get offline, listen to the birds, all the good things. All right, peace.